Hi everybody, Susan here with Pumpkin Hill Stampers. I have a Stampin' Show and Tell for you today. Today we're going to be using the Amazing Life photopolymer stamp set. This is in the new Spring Occasion catalog. And they have it bundled with this new stitched rectangular framelits set of dies. Look at all those rectangles. Lots and lots of rectangles. And really, we use a lot of rectangles in our cards, right? So pretty fitting for our craft. So this is the page in the catalog. They've got some great ideas for you here, but I'm going to do this idea for you today. So let's go ahead and get started with our project. Alright, this one is pretty simple. Now last week I did the series on simple stamping, and then I stepped it up on Wednesday, and then we did the over the top the card on Friday. So for a real basic start, we've got our envelope. I'm using Fresh Fig as my card base because it's a coordinating color in the Designer Series paper, and this is a sample from the Petal Promenade paper that is in our annual catalog. So I liked the way the Fresh Fig coordinated with the paper there. Then on the inside we're going to have our Whisper White, and then I just have some of that scrap edge. You know, what do you do with all the scraps? You throw them away or do you use them? We're going to use them. We're just going to line the bottom of the inside of our card, just like that. So don't throw them away, use them up. Alright, and look at the back of that paper. Isn't that a beautiful marble with some of that Fresh Fig color in there? So there's that. Then, to make our main embellishment here on the front, we're actually going to use two pieces of vellum. You might not see it well in the video, but you'll see it when you see the card in person. I actually have a layer underneath, okay? Because when I stamped my words on there, right, I could see my images through, but I wanted the words to pop a little more. So by adding a second layer of vellum, because I didn't want to lose the flowers altogether behind there, but it just made it a little more obscured. So I did that for there. Now I did decide, kind of last minute, that I am going to step this card up just a little bit for you, just so you can see those framelits in action. So instead of using just our simple rectangular DSP, I have run one through the Big Shot with those new framelits. And so I'm just going to peel off the extra around the edges. So it didn't make my piece a whole lot smaller, it just made it a little bit smaller. So we'll put the card together with this one, and then we can see them side by side. Now I did run it through my precision plate because those stitched framelits, you really want to get that detail on the edge. Okay, so it's a very subtle detail. There's not a lot there, but it just gives it that crafty feel, I guess, is the way we're going to explain it. So here's going to be my piece of DSP. Now you see how it's just a little bit smaller than that one? Alright, so we'll play with that in a minute when we get our images all stamped and see how we want to adjust just a little bit. So let's go ahead and stamp. Now I am stamping in Memento, and I am going to use blends to color in my banner and my word happy. Now we don't have Fresh Fig blends as of yet. They're in color, so I don't necessarily expect them. So I'm using Rich Raspberry as my substitute purple hue, and they coordinate really nicely. So we'll use those in just a minute. But I am stamping in Memento. Now, I color on the back of my vellum just because even though I'm using Memento, I'm stamping on vellum. And sometimes I find, now this could just be me, that sometimes I find when I stamp on vellum with Memento and then I use my alcohol markers, maybe it's the vellum paper itself, but sometimes it'll start to bleed the Memento ink a little bit. So that's my little tip, is that I'm going to stamp in Memento, but I'm going to color on the back side. So I'm going to stamp this down, and if you were noticing, I lined up my vellum paper on my grid sheet and then I stamped through, so I knew I was getting it centered. Okay, and sometimes it sticks, so just peel it off gently. Now you want to let this dry. Should I say it again? Let it dry. If you want to, heat set it with a heat tool, but let it dry. So here I have one all dried up. So now we're going to color the image, like I said. So I'm flipping it over. I'm going to use my lighter Rich Raspberry marker. Okay, and I'm just going to shade in the letters. Right around in there. So we're going to give it a happy glow. We're not just going to leave it bare. All right, you could leave it just white, black and white. That would be fine. But we'll step it up a little. We'll add some color to our stamped image. Okay, and then I'm going to use the darker one, I think, for the banner. Turn this around. And I'm going just behind it, so just stay inside your lines if you can. Now you can use your blend to pick up if you have a little extra ink on the outside. It will pull it off, but we're just going to be careful today. Alright, so let's see how this looks when I flip it over. Now again, it takes it a little time to dry on the vellum. I'm going to give that a wiggle and a little blow. Okay, so there we go. There's our happy to have you in my life. Let me close off the memento for a minute. Alright, so let's build the front of our card. So we've got our base, we've got our die cut rectangle now. Now if I do it right in the center, right, and then I'm going to have my liner piece underneath, and then I'm going to have this one over the top. Should we just offset it a little bit? Yeah? Or should we go right in the center, on top, on top, on top? I think I want it offset a little bit. I think I'm going to pull that up a little bit too, because I want more of that to show. Alright, so there, we've made our decisions. Sometimes you just have to play with it and then do it. So, and you can always make the next one different. They don't have to be identical. They're your cards. Make them the way you want them. Okay, and play around with what you like. It's okay. Alright, so there's that one. Now, I'm going to put the liner piece on first. Okay, and I just cut it down 1/4 of an inch, so it's just a little bit smaller. So I'm just going to stick this down here. Let's see. And then I'm going to put my snail behind my banner section, behind my happy, and behind the word life. Because sometimes you see that adhesive through and we don't really want to see it. Now I'm lining this up. I can see the vellum through my paper, and so I just want to frame it kind of inside my lines. Does that make sense? The bottom piece is framed inside of the beaker piece. Now I don't want to rub that with my fingers because I'll smear the ink, right? So flip it over, do it on your scrap sheet, get all that adhesive married up, and now we're good to go. Okay, so there's our front, right? Front one, front two. Similar, different, stepped up a little. Okay, so there's that. Now let's do the inside. So here is my finished inside. Now I took the stamps and set them on my photopolymer stamp block. So when you get the set, it's got a lot of different words, okay? The happy birthday and the you are amazing come as separate stamps. And then we've got these dots in here, and I put that between them. Okay, so I just put one on my grid sheet and then the other one, and then I put my block down, and then there was room for the one in the middle. So that's how I line those up. So now I'm just going to ink this, and because Memento's on the table, why not? It's a good black. So I'm going to stamp this. Nice and firm, try not to rock it. Perfect. Alright, and then we're going to put this along the bottom. I'm just going to add some snail to the back. Now, like I said, this was just a little scrap of DSP when I was cutting my paper down for the front. So I had a little 1/2 inch scrap, so I said, you know what, we're going to put that on the inside. Use that paper up, let's not waste it. There's that, and then we're going to put some snail on the back side. Line our card. go. That wasn't so hard, was it? So there's our stepped up one, and here is my original. Okay, and then for our envelope, right, if you're going to stamp your card, stamp your envelope, I got this fun little embellishment here, right here. It could be a little crown, but I'm going to use it in the corner of my envelope. I'm just going to stamp this, and I can see through my block so I can position it where I want it. Add some fun to the envelope as well. So there you go. There's our show and tell for today. So you might notice in my comments below I'm changing a little bit. I got myself a birthday present last week. I started a website. Yay for me. So I'm going to start linking you back to my website post, which gives you all the product detail and shows you how you can subscribe to the show and tell news. So if you want all the tutorials, you can get them through there. So again, I always love your comments and thumbs ups here, but visit me on my new website. Leave me a comment there too. Let me know you're visiting, and that will make my day. So thanks everybody, and I'll see you again on Friday for another project. Go do some fun stamping. Bye-bye.